live from YouTube. It's Tuesday night. I bet you guys haven't I bet you guys haven't thought you guys would never hear that one again. But anyways, as I said, welcome back. Tonight's a treat. So let's get talking. Folks, let's see who's here tonight as we dive in to all this. We have Stacy here. Excited for the program. Thanks. Thanks for showing up, Stacy. How are you doing tonight? Hunter's here. The return of the bin buster. Yep. Yep. We're going to be having some fun here too tonight, Hunter. So let's do that. What do you like better, Menace to Society or The Line of Fire? Line of Fire. Honestly, I've seen Menace to Society a couple times. It wasn't really my forte, my cup of tea. So that's pretty much it. And Stacey goes, Bin Buster Legacy. Yeah, that's right. Bin Buster Legacy, folks. So I want to talk to you guys about, before I get into, we're going to talk Superman tonight. Don't worry about that. Before we get into that, I want to say something to everyone. I'm back. So, and we're going to start off with where have I been? As you guys can see down there below, where have I been? So, if you guys see me looking this way, my computer's over here. I'm just making sure everything's working good and all that. I'm not on YouTube right now, so can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? All right. Would you like to see a new Any Given Sunday or streaming series of that? I think a series might be more beneficial to go with, um, because you can dive into a little bit more in the day-to-day operations of the team and what it means to be a player behind that. Uh, Superman, Fortress of Solitude, east to get to for everyone in 2025 Superman. LOL. I'll talk about that. It honestly, it does make a little bit of sense in there, but be aware, Stacy, there will be no spoilers tonight. So, because I know Hunter hasn't seen it yet, so there will be no spoilers tonight. I'll discuss the movie. I'll discuss the movie, but we're not going to have spoilers tonight. Yeah, great idea. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, thanks. Yeah. All right, there we go. So, where have I been? If you guys know, the last video on this channel that I had was a watch along that I did with the Geeks and Flicks crew. So, you know, Alex Figueroa, Joe Jokers, a bunch of those guys. I did that, and I did that in February, and since then, a lot has happened. For those of you that don't know, my job, I work retail. I I've recently become in May the inventory lead, so I now work Monday through Fridays in retail, 7:30 to like 3:30, 7 to 3:30 p.m. So I have those cush hours and those cushy hours in retail. So that's where I've been. I've been working that, and those of you that don't know, I'm the production manager, media manager, whatever you want to call it. I do all the social media. I do the videos, the shorts, the reels for my church. I make sure the words are. I oversee the soundboard. I oversee the computers that make sure the words are up on the screen every single Sunday, and the notes are up on the screen every single Sunday for people. I do that too, and that's been taking a lot more of my time since February. We've gone through a growth there, and it's an amazing thing there. So for those of you that don't know that, that's what I've been doing. That's almost a full time thing itself. So my creative juices for this channel have just been on the back burner because of that. I've been doing all my creativity towards that and stuff like that. So where does this hold Bin Buster in the future? Yes, Hunter. I am the Lord Social Media Director. Yes, yes. Um, you guys could follow me here at Binbuster at the Binbuster on social media on Instagram. I just have Instagram. guys want to follow that aspect of we want to follow the aspect of that stuff that I've done, it's the Graydon. I can actually, you know what? Let me bring it up here right now for you guys. I'm just typing it in right now for those of you who are wondering. That's the social media one right there. That if you want to follow me with what I'm doing with my church, it's all right there. And if not, if you just want to follow Binbuster, Binbuster will be right here. Both of which, right there's the Binbuster. Both of which, right now, folks, you guys could find me all only on Instagram. So, speaking of that, that's what I've been doing. So if you guys want to find me there, that's where you guys could find me. All right, let's see. Stacy says, "Do you find any DVDs and Blu-rays at library?" Says, "I haven't been to one in ages because last time I went to one it was because I was still working weekends. So I haven't been to one since I changed my job. But yeah, I found some stuff. It was more so DVDs, and it was more so like older stuff too that I like, and that's all been there. That's it. They're usually hit and miss. It's usually a library copy of the movie that you get. I shouldn't say anything. I got a Criterion for $1, so you can't beat that. Can't beat that. Anyways, what does the future hold for Binbuster? For those of you that want to follow me on Instagram, that's why I put it right up here, the Binbuster. You guys can follow me right on my social media, right there at the Binbuster. You guys can follow me right there. I'm going to be posting shorts, reels right there. I'm going to be posting some pickups that I do there because this channel is going through a little bit of a change. I mean, I'm still doing my lives, but it's gonna be a once a month thing. Yeah, just because then I can produce it a whole lot better than trying to do it every week for you guys. I could come up with great ideas, great like top 10 lists, franchise rankings. I can even do movie reviews like this. So that doesn't start until August because my next live will be the review of Fantastic Four. First steps. So we go Superman, we go Fantastic Four, and then from there in August starts once a month. What does this mean? Because once a month live like this means I can do other videos for you guys too, which means I have some ideas I want to do. Like I want to bring back Rewind, but I want it to be that special and be alive once a like once in a while, and so do that. Do some watch alongs, but I don't want to be bridled in doing that along with a weekly show. So once a month, and maybe once every so often, you're going to get another live from me. But once a month lives from the Bin Buster going forward, and you could catch all my stuff on social on my Instagram. Have I seen Don Juan DeMarco? Nope, I have not. I have not. So that's where I have been, everyone. So that's. I mean, I've been busy. I've been busy, to be honest with you guys. Been super, super busy. But and that's what the future holds for Bin Buster because I want to get back to doing my rewinds because I've seen that people have been watching the House Party one and um what was the other one? Oh, Love Potion #9 have been actually been watched over and over again, stuff like that. So I can do lives, I can do stuff like that, but it's just like my top 10. Anything I do recorded will just be a one off video whenever I feel like it because it's one of those things that I'm going to do shorts for this channel too, and so shorts are going to be on the YouTube and on my Instagram. So the shorts I do for Instagram are going to be posted here on the channel too, so you guys can watch those. However, I'm just going to sit around and enjoy life, have my creative juices flowing for both, and here's what it is. So that's where I've been for right now. So I'm looking to see where I had that. Oh, there's that one. All right. And if you guys don't know what the QR code is, right down there, right over there, right there's the QR code. If you guys don't know what that is, that's for you guys to join the channel. So if you were watching this and you're not subscribed, hit that, scan the QR code with your phone and then watch my videos. Like, subscribe, do all that fun jazz, stuff like that. And, anyways, tonight we're going to be talking about, right now, the non spoiler stuff of Superman 2025. That's right, Superman, formerly known as Superman Legacy. The first foray into the new DCU. So, I just want to know, those of you watching right down below, comment in the comment section if you've seen this movie. If you have not, what your thoughts are, non spoilers, because I know people haven't seen it yet, but non spoilers. So there we go. Okay, as I always do these reviews, if you guys are not familiar with this channel or not familiar with a lot of my MCU reviews, I give you guys the good, the bad, and the ramifications this brings to that cinematic universe. So we're going to get into the good, the bad, and the ramifications where I think they're going with the DCU, because we don't know yet where they're going because it's still in its infantile state. So because of one movie. Just to let you guys know, this movie right now, it was a budget of $225 million. It got back about that much worldwide. Maybe I think it was like 231 overall worldwide at the end of the weekend. So, and today it outsurpassed a lot of Monday reviews that people thought, with 13 million today. So now they're just making bank before this. So they're like, well, it hasn't reached 500 million or billion yet. If a movie is profitable, WB has stated this movie's made back its cost and then starting to make more money. And that's how you do business, folks. It doesn't always have to be $1 billion. Superman this week is the only movie out that people would want to see besides Smurfs, but that's more kid friendly. So this one will be out. Jurassic Park's been out, but that's old news by now, folks, because that's about 2 weeks old. Going to be 3 weeks. It's actually 3 weeks old now. So, anyways, still haven't seen it though. So we're going to talk Superman. This is a story where we just jump right into the action. We would just jump right into the action. We get a little screen credits that states the world we're in. About 3 centuries ago, the first superhuman, or the metahuman, sorry, the first metahuman showed up and ushered in the Gods and Monsters era. This is the first phase of the DCU right here. They said it was successful, and I think it was another 50 mil for marketing and promotions, because you have to understand it's Warner Brothers, so a lot of that stuff is tied into their 225 mil. So because Nicholas Hoult only made $2 million on this movie, and David Cornswet and Rachel Bronson, who were the Superman and Lois, obviously, only made $750,000 for this film, both of them. So it's like there wasn't much in the way of payroll being wasted. It was a lot of special effects and stuff like that was there. I heard my name. I didn't say Kal-El. I didn't say your name. Sorry, man. But anyways, we start with the crawl that says centuries ago, first amount of human showed up. Then 30 years ago, they will they will. Um, they started up 30 years ago. It was when Clark showed up on Earth as a baby. So Superman showed up on Earth as a baby, and then 3 years later is when he became Superman. So that was the title crawl you get there, and we just jump right into the action. Superman exists in this world. We get the crypto scene that we saw in the trailers, and that's actually pretty funny. but then we get to see like we see the fortress for real for the first time and how it looks and everything. I can honestly say, yes, your tribal chief is probably. I'll watch the replay. Um. So what will happen is he's there. Fortress of Solitude looks very comic accurate. If you're understand what the fortress is, it's made out of crystals. You'll like the way it looks. And the inside part, we get a new Jor-El and Lara. I'm not going to spoil anything about that. So you guys could just watch it that way for you guys. But then we get some robots that tend to Superman. He's being bloodied, battered, bruised. Hunter's saying hi to Cal. So there's stuff like that going on that you're bruised and all that stuff. And so so they put in this magnifying glass and the sun radiation hits them. That's something else we've seen in the trailers. So we get a lot of that going on too. But then we get to see him fly off. We get action in Metropolis with him and the Justice Gang. And I gotta say, the Justice Gang is actually pretty cool in this movie. So we got Hawkgirl, Guy Gardner, and Mr. Terrific. These are not spoilers, but you've seen them in the trailers. Hawkgirl in the movie doesn't really do much. To be honest, she doesn't do much. Mr. Terrific has some cool stuff that he does, and Guy Gardner is just being the butt or the ass that he always is. Comic accurate, folks, even including the hair. Comic accurate, including the hair, because that's what Nathan Fillion wanted. He wanted to be comic accurate with the character, and he is. So it's he steals a lot of scenes when he's on there. So and then we get the action. So we see the Daily Planet crew, which is actually pretty cool that they actually have a legit working Daily Planet, and it's not just Clark and Lois and a bunch of extras just running around everywhere. But it's Clark, Lois. They actually have Jimmy, they have Perry, they have Steve Lombard, who's their sports guy, and they have Cat Grant, who's another reporter. It is like her gossip columnist, Ask Abby type of person. So we have that. So they flushed out a lot of the Daily Planet crew, which is amazing because you usually don't get that in movies like this. Usually a lot of like Steve Lombard, Cat Grant are usually background characters, but a lot of like Jimmy plays a big part in this movie during something towards the end. Lois does some great stuff in here too. So they're not just side characters, which was what people were worried about with this movie, was that there's too many characters. It's not going to work. It works. Trust me on that. It works. The premise, I'm not going to spoil it, but Superman, there's more to that interview scene that we saw in the trailers between him and Lois. It actually gets very verbal and heated. So there's that. We actually get to see Mom Pa Kent more so than what they showed us in the trailer, but it's still only a small scene. They're only on there for a short period of time, but it makes sense in the storyline, just to let you guys know. All right. So we'll get into my good, the bads, and where this is going right now. And I'll give you my overall ratings. The goods of this, it felt like a comic book movie. It felt like a Superman movie. If you guys are fans, comment down below if you guys are fans of Man of Steel. I know there's some people who are, some people hate it. I didn't really care for the muted tones of it. And it also didn't really seem to be a Superman movie because Superman's about hope and helping humanity and helping the little guy out. So that's what this movie was. It came back to the bright blue, bright yellow, bright red suits. It came back to that. It came back to they sampled the John Williams score in here just a little bit, but they redid it in a certain way to you start off with the John Williams score and they do that. So it feels like a comic book movie. You're in the action. All the things that happen in here make it believe you're in a comic book movie the way comic book movies should. I'm sick and tired of having I love anything they give us. To be honest, yeah, DC has hit it out of the park on this one with James Gunn. Say what you will about James Gunn personally, he's done a lot of stuff here in this that's won me over that I can't wait for the future of the DCU. So another pro I want to talk about is the supporting cast. You know, Nicholas Hoult, Rachel Bronson, Edie, Edie Guerra, who's Mr. Terrific, Nathan Fillion, Isabel Marced, the person who plays the engineer, the Eve Tessmacher. We have Eve Tessmacher, Lex's girlfriend in here too. So I want to talk about them. They were all pros because in a movie like this, you either get way too many characters and no one really does much. Yes, I'm looking at you, Marvel. I'm looking at you and your Avengers movies, especially Endgame and Infinity War. Yes, they might have been the end, but it just seemed like there was a lot of characters not doing anything in those movies that just showed up at the end. I'm just saying, too many characters for that, but these characters tie in very well together. And so the supporting cast in here makes the movie. That's what it is. You need a good villain, you need a good hero to make a movie like this. And that's what they have here. David Cornsweet, Nicholas Hoult. Whew, wow. They were so good as Superman and Lex, respectively. You're some of the stuff Lex does in this movie, you're gonna be like, whoa, yeah. And it's actually a comic accurate Lex, so it's like his ego is in check because he thinks he's protecting Metropolis and protecting humanity from um Superman. Cal's like, hey bro, can't stay. I have a wonderful stream. I'm so excited to see this movie. More off the positive buzz than what I've seen in trailers. I want to be spoiler free going in. Yeah, like I said, Cal, I'm not spoiling anything. So you're really not gonna be spoiled here tonight. Well, the other positive I gotta say that I liked was the way they came up to the climax and the way Superman shows his humanity. He's an alien. We all know this, and he shows his humanity in certain ways in this film, and I like that a lot. So let's get into the cons. Oh, before I do that, there's one more pro I like. I like the fact that they paid homage to the Christopher Reeve movies by doing the credits the way they did. It zoomed in, the Superman like that with the name. Yeah, they did that. It worked. It worked very well for this movie, and I'm pleased that they did that as well. So let's get into my cons about this movie. I'm not a huge fan of the soundtrack of this film. I'm a punk rocker, like seriously, like I'm not a huge fan. Guardians of the Galaxy had a lot more when James Gunn chose his songs for that. They had a lot more staying power. Let's put it this way, because there were songs people knew. A lot of this one I didn't know because it was in the punk rock genre, which I'm not very familiar with. But I mean, there was other songs in there too, and sometimes a lot of stuff is good like that. What's good, G? Hey, Tim, how's it going, man? Thanks for showing up tonight, man. Talking Superman. But anyways, another con I had in here was I gotta say it was the way they did some. I don't want to spoil what it was, but the way they did something in this movie. Yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy had more more music for us old people. That's right, Hunter. That's right. They had more stuff for us old people. But anyways, what I was saying is there's a premise in here that happens with Superman, and I wasn't for it because it didn't make sense as to what it was, and they keep on playing on it on one part of it, but kept going over and over and over again instead of the other part of the message that they were there for. And so it's like, okay, I mean, another con, and that's probably my last one with this. I enjoyed the engineer. I think as a villain, she could have been done a little bit better. Ultraman in here could have been done a little better, and Rick Flag could have been done a little bit better. Those are the only ones of the supporting cast I think could have been done a little better because Flag's not necessarily the villain, but the other two are the villain, are two of the villains who actually fight Superman. So having those guys be more prominent in the villain side of things makes more sense for me. And now it's time, yeah, for the ramifications. Where do I see the DCU going from here? It's hard to say. We know the next movie is Supergirl. That's been said. Supergirl is already done in production. It's in post production right now, getting set for next year. We have that. We have Lanterns coming out, which I'm stoked for because Nathan Fillion's back as Guy Gardner in there, but we get Hal and John now, so it's like we get brush up more on that origin there, that story, that world there, that more cosmic, universal type of stuff there. I mean, they don't really tease you for anything going forward, which is kind of cool in the aspect of this. So where do I see it going? Obviously, we're going to eventually get a Justice League movie. How we get there, I have no idea. I can take a guess. If you want to hear that, message me on Instagram. I'll give it a week, and I'll answer stuff down below too if you have questions for that there too. So check that out. Stuff like that. Stuff like that. It's like I want to say something because in the beginning crawl when they said the first Superman showed up, I think I know who the big baddie is in the first one, but if I say, "Oh, this is who it's going to be," and it doesn't turn out to be who it is, you guys are going to call me a liar and all that fun stuff. But I mean, it's a pure guess. I'm going to say it's Vandal Savage. Vandal Savage is your first villain that Justice League is going to, just because of something that they said in the beginning of the movie, and that's it. You don't even get a hint of that throughout anything else in the movie. Just that first part of the movie, I felt that way there. Do you think some actors were just for a cameo for future movies centralized for those characters? Honestly, I think you can spin off Mr. Terrific for his own TV show. I think that might be actually be kind of cool. Metamorpho, he's a background character, but he has some cool powers dealing with elements and stuff like that. So you can see that the engineer will be coming back in the Authority. We know James Gunn said he's doing an Authority movie, so she will be back in that because she's part of that team. We know we're going to see Rick Flag again because of him leading the Creature Commandos in there. Yes, that same Rick Flag Senior. Yeah. I mean, the Daily Planet people you're probably going to see again in another Superman movie. Lois, Jimmy, Perry, at least. Back there, Lex will be back. Eve, I don't know her if she will be back, but it would be a good thing to have her back. Let's put it that way. That would be a good thing to have too. Also, I believe Nathan Fillion will be back in Lanterns. Hawkgirl is kind of iffy. If they're going the way I think they're going, Hunter, where it's more based off of the lineup for the Justice League Unlimited TV show, because this movie had a lot of stuff from the Superman animated series in here. A lot of feels for that. If they're going that way, Hawker will be part of that team and it'll be fantastic. But I think her and John are going to have that love interest going like they had in that TV show and do it that way. A lot of these characters were probably centralized for other projects later, yes. Yes, I agree with that statement. And anyways, If you haven't seen it, go out and see it. It's worth the 2 hours. Like, honestly, it's like 2 hours and 9 minutes. And that 9 minutes is mostly credits. So so you don't even get to sit in the theater for 3 hours. You only get to sit there for 2. And a great solid movie at that. I give this out of 5, I give it about 4.5 out of 5. I mean, it is what it is. It's a great starting point for this universe, and the fact that the universe already exists before this movie, it was amazing. That we're not, and you don't get the origin story in here, folks. So if you're looking for a new origin story told by James Gunn, I'm sorry, you're not getting one, because Superman, Batman, and Spider-Man are 3 characters you don't need origin stories for, because you know them all. Superman gets jettisoned from Krypton as it explodes, comes down to Kansas. Boom. Yes. Batman, his parents die. Boom. Batman gets shot in Crime Alley. Spider-Man gets bit by a spider. No matter who it is, they get bit by a radioactive spider. Boom. Spider-Man. Easy. Don't need to do those ones. Hunter, you're saying, is there post or mid credit scenes? There is both. There's post credits and mid credits, so you might want to stay for both. I'm not going to spoil them, but yeah, there is one of each of those, so you're going to be right in there. And I mean, what does this future hold? I don't know, but it looks bright. It looks bright. It looks like something completely different than what Marvel's offering, and that's something good, because DC's always been more about their single characters in their movies and in their comic books, but now it's going to be good to see these guys properly have a universe built around them and everything. And he goes, cool. Yes. Thank you, Hunter. Anyways, like I said, I like to keep these lives around a half an hour, and look, it's 33 minutes. Hey, back again. At that time, I would just want to thank Hunter, Stacy, Tim, and Cal for stopping on by here, and all those of you guys watching the replay. Thanks for joining in. Let me know what are your non-spoiler thoughts of Superman down below in the comment section. Give me all that there, as well as, you know what? You guys could follow me right here at the Bin Buster, right on all social media, folks. So until next time, I'm Graydon, aka the Bin Buster. I'll see you guys later. Peace.